Ciara Donlon from THEYA. Welcome to Irish Startup TV.
Thank you.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about THEYA and what the business does?
Okay, so what THEYA does is we make lingerie for women who've had breast cancer surgery in particular, but it's now expanded into radiotherapy and cosmetic surgery as well.
Okay, so could you explain a little bit then the distinction between the mastectomy and radiotherapy? And
Sure, yeah. So the range that we developed was based on research that we did with breast cancer survivors. So we interviewed women here and in the UK, and the designs are based on basically what they told us that they wanted. But the material that we've used is bamboo. So I don't know if you know much about bamboo.
I know it's really strong for surfboards as a decking and windsurfboards, but
It's good for
beyond
scaffolding.
that. Okay.
Pandas eat it.
And it's antibacterial
It is.
property. So
It
could
is.
you maybe explain?
Yeah, so bamboo. So basically, the feedback from the women, they were saying the bras that are currently on the market, itchy, scratchy, irritating me. A lot of the time they have to go through hormone treatment. They get hot flushes, they perspire more. Sometimes they go through the change, so they are actually going through the change of life. They could be quite young when this is happening. So they are very uncomfortable in their own skin. So we were looking for a material that would be comfier for them, and we came across bamboo. And bamboo is very unique in a number of ways. It's antibacterial, as you mentioned, so it would help with healing. It's 300% more absorbent than cotton, so that would be fantastic for the perspiration. It is wickable, which basically means it removes the sweat from your body, so it pushes it away. And for radiotherapy, it's thermally regulating. So literally, and we've had feedback from women saying this, that I don't know if you know much about radiotherapy, but when women get radiotherapy, their skin gets burnt basically, or anybody gets radiotherapy, but their skin has actual blisters on it and can be burnt. So the bras, when they put them on over it, because they've got the bamboo, it's actually taking the heat out of their skin.
Okay.
It's also helping them to sleep. A lot of cancer patients find it very difficult to sleep because they're overheating. And our bras, we've been told that they're actually 70%. We did a pilot study and 70% of the women said that it's helping them sleep through the night. So for that reason, the bamboo is amazing. And that's what drew us to move not only from breast cancer surgery, as in the mastectomy, which can be removal of one breast, two breasts, a lumpectomy, which can be a partial removal, but also into radiotherapy, which everybody who has breast cancer normally has radiotherapy. Yeah. Or chemotherapy, depending on what the diagnosis is. So we thought it was only going to be good for women who'd had mastectomies, as in they're soft, they're comfortable, they're seamless, they're front adjustable, they're pretty, but also because of the material, it is actually going to help with the radiotherapy to relieve some of the symptoms they're going through.
Okay.
And the antibacterial.
So the issue of dealing with the heat and the sweating and so forth. Okay.
Yeah. So we've done a pilot with UCD in conjunction with James's and the Beacon with 15 women. So the results from it, which we just got recently there, are amazing.
Okay.
Like, the women are saying that the bras become their comfort blanket. It's made them be able to look in the mirror in the morning. Like, amazing stuff, much better than we thought. And we're rolling that out now to 100 women. So there's going to be a study done in 4 hospitals in Dublin, over a 2-year period, with an oncology nurse who's doing her masters on it.
On the subject of...
Yeah, so basically it's...
what's the subject of her masters?
So the subject is basically psychologically and physically, do THEYA's bras help improve women's self-esteem and how they feel about themselves
It's a great bit of validation.
post breast surgery. Amazing. Yeah. And we're just about to apply for patents as well for the application of the bras. So.
For the use of I'm going to say technology, but for use of the material of bamboo and how it's applied and so forth.
Well, actually, it's the application. It's not the material, because we can't patent the material because it already exists. But what we can do, and what we're doing at the moment, is we're testing our material mix of the bamboo fabric. And the results are coming back very positive for the antibacterial, the microbial, all of those things. So we're going to patent the application of that for post-surgery and radiotherapy. So that has to be in by the end of this month. So once that's in, we'll have patent pending on those, which means that if any of our competitors would like to use bamboo for post-surgery, they would potentially have to get a license from us in the future.
And the whole concept of patent, it seems in Ireland it's very mixed. Not everybody knows what the whole area IP and intellectual property is all about. How did you find out about these things? Have you a scientific background?
No, my background
Really?
is business and marketing, so I'm a Trinity graduate from and DIT both. So
You now have PCD onto your CV as well.
I know, yeah. So they're all amazing, all the
Yeah,
universities in
absolutely.
Dublin. Yeah,
Well, it's great collaboration. But going back to that
Yeah.
question then about the IP, so what did you have to do to understand these ideas?
So I'm an Enterprise Ireland client.
Okay.
So as part of being their client, I was advised from pretty early on to look into whether or not there was any IP in my products, or in what we were doing. So we did look into it, but to be honest, it's an interesting question because we ended up, I'm now on patent lawyers number 4, I think.
Really?
I found, I moved patent lawyer recently because it was an outside person who told me that we could have a patent applicable to the application, because patents have been ruled out basically on the design and on the fabric by
So
other
when you say an
patent lawyers.
outside person, like an external person to the business or to the... Okay.
Yeah. Somebody who's advising us,
Okay.
who has their own medical device company actually, and he saw that there could potentially be a patent there. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
So he advised you,
Yeah.
you should look into this, okay.
No, I had already looked into it, but I've been
Okay.
told there was no patents there.
By the lawyers?
Yeah.
Now you don't have to name the lawyers, but was this a sort of a small size lawyer or was it a main practice?
Well, they're a main practice. I mean, there aren't that many patent practices
No, there
in
aren't.
Ireland. It was one of them.
That's
So
frightening.
It wasn't.
So
So the one I'm with now, they very much focus on medical device.
okay, so is this the main expertise that you're
Now we're going down the medical device route.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we started life as a lingerie company.
Okay. Because you mentioned you're going to change the name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're getting rid of the lingerie from it.
Okay.
I had originally not called us mastectomy lingerie, which
Yeah.
is for that niche, but the lingerie, retail lingerie market, we're selling in it at the moment, but we need to get to the ladies before their surgery or in hospital. So to do that, we need to be supplying the health boards.
The language as well, I suspect, would be quite important because whereas like mastectomy, or it almost could put a chill down someone's spine.
It does, and it turns women off. We got feedback from that as well, that they don't want to be pigeonholed or something.
Mm.
So we're just going with THEYA. There's a reason behind THEYA. She's a goddess, a Hindu goddess, and our whole brand is around female strength, because that was one thing that really struck me about the women when I interviewed them. They're so strong. And an awful lot of it is for their kids. Like an awful lot of it said that's what kind of gave them the strength to get through breast cancer.
Really?
Yeah, and my paternal granny, Rose Donlon, she had a double mastectomy years and years ago, and she used to tell people she'd had cysts in her breast. She wouldn't even tell people that she had had cancer. Back in the day in Ireland, she couldn't even get a bra. So for me, it's personal as well as wanting to just help these women in a very difficult period, like make them feel better about themselves, basically.
You mentioned women going through the change as well. Is that the menopause?
Yeah.
Okay, so your product as well is also helpful in that context, because again the medical externalities of the menopause are the hot flushes and...
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I've been asked to develop a range particularly for menopausal
really?
women.
Okay, so how do you market then because no one wants to be called a menopausal woman.
No, so that's it, that's the thing. You can't. What you need to do is to get the nature of the bamboo and the properties of the bras out there through marketing.
It's almost like marketing an outdoor product.
It is.
And is there a context then as well for marketing your product in a sporting context? Because
There
a lot
is.
of similar, yeah.
There is, yeah. See, that's the thing. There's endless
quite exciting.
applications.
Yeah, yeah.
There's endless applications, but we have to kind of
Focus. Niche.
And our focus is still breast cancer at the moment. Even though I suppose as a secondary, we're selling it. We have got some cosmetic hospitals as customers, because it's the same principle. They need compression, they need support, and they need to heal. But it's our focus is breast cancer patients.
And you mentioned your grandmother Rose. Was that the leading inspiration for the product?
Yeah, it's why our logo is a rose.
Oh really?
A wild rose
Oh, that's
as well.
very charming.
Yeah. She's ended up being in an article actually. She's dead, but a picture of her now is online. She's going to be forever immortalised.
Really?
Yeah, which is great actually.
And what was the context?
Yeah, interesting one. Last year the company was called Isis Rose.
Okay.
And we changed our name for obvious reasons.
Okay.
Because terrorist organisations started calling themselves ISIS.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so Joe Dolly, they were doing an article on companies that had ISIS in their name.
Oh really?
Those that changed it, like us, and those that didn't. So so I was interviewed for that, and we changed it before we went into production. Luckily enough, it wasn't that hard to change. But I actually prefer THEYA now. It's kind of funny the way these things happen. But Isis is an Egyptian goddess. That was why I had chosen that name. I'm sure they didn't realise that they were calling themselves after an Egyptian goddess. But, so it was part of that article that
it's
my
good.
granny got a mention.
It's a beautiful story.
Yeah. Well, I suppose if companies are done from the heart, I think, well, they have to be, don't they?
It has to be authentic as well.
Yeah, well, they have to
what
really mean
brings.
something. Yeah, they do. So, and actually, it's funny today. I was reading through the pilot study for another reason, and it just struck me again that the wording, some of the things the ladies are saying about the lingerie is very, very powerful, and it's incredibly gratifying for all of us that work in THEYA that it's not only a business, but we are genuinely helping these women, and that's kind of what makes it very worthwhile as well.
Yeah, you've already mentioned the change, but listening to you, it strikes me that your product is actually life changing as well, because life has already changed by virtue of the fact that there's cancer.
Yeah.
But this product is helping to change, or to better deal with the reality of it, and also to change the paradigm to a much more positive outcome.
That's it. Yeah, it is.
Fantastic.
It is. Yeah.
That's really fantastic.
Yeah.
What's next on the roadmap? You've already mentioned the master's program, or the master's study.
Yeah, so we're in the middle of becoming a medical device, so we're getting our CE
Okay.
mark at the moment. So I suppose our big calendar date this year is the patent at the end of August. We'll have our medical device status class 1 by October, and then we're going to Dusseldorf in November. There's a huge big medical fair called Medica. It's the biggest in the world. So we'll be attending that in November. So that's kind of when we're going to launch ourselves as more a healthcare company than a lingerie company. So we'll be selling our lingerie from autumn as a medical device as opposed to as a retail lingerie item. So. And
how does that affect business? I'm sure that there are a lot of different sort of loopholes and red tape, but also opportunities that change.
It does. Well, the biggest thing is that it'll give us easier access into national health boards.
Okay.
Once you have the medical device status, they're more willing to be open to listening to you. The class 1 means we're non-surgical, so we're not dangerous. The product couldn't do harm, I suppose, in that way. It's the least invasive. So they will be more opening to us becoming a direct supplier. So we're going to be targeting the health boards. We're already in individual hospitals, but what our end game is to be literally every lady will wake up with one of our bras after surgery. Okay. And in order to do that, we need to go to the national health boards as opposed to individual buyers.
The data in Ireland for breast cancer, it's quite high, and it's incredibly curable as well.
Yeah, it is, thank God. That like 89% survival rate now after 10 years, which it's gotten a huge amount better than it used to be. Ireland, you have a 1 in 8 chance of getting breast cancer in Ireland. So nearly 3,000 women a year are diagnosed with breast cancer in Ireland. Where we've got the same statistics as the UK and the rest of the world, but the I suppose the numbers in the UK are much bigger. But in Western Europe, 500,000 women a year are diagnosed with breast cancer. Worldwide, 2 million.
It's a huge market opportunity to make a huge, meaningful improvement and benefit to so many women. That's really exciting. From the point of view of the I suppose the altruistic piece as well.
Yeah, it is, and that's what's so lovely, that it is actually helping them in a positive way. I suppose our biggest challenge at the moment is our competitors are truly ingrained. They've been around an awful long time. They have a lot of loyalty, which is good that they do. But for us, I suppose we're starting. We have to prove ourselves more than they do, even though they don't have similar products to us. But it's everybody loves our products when they see them and when they feel them. But it's getting for them to be felt and seen. So it's getting to the right person.
What could help if somebody is watching this video?
I suppose we need more advisors in the medical space. That's the area that we want to go into. We're very lucky. We have a breast surgeon as an investor. She's based here in Ireland, which is fantastic. It's great kudos from the medical community, but we need to get our name out there more within the medical community internationally. So what I now need is the likes of somebody in America, like I need to contact cancer societies. I need to get in touch with large hospital groups, things like that. If I could get somebody who is a breast surgeon in a hospital or in a group of hospitals in the US, it would help us spread the word better. It needs to be word of mouth. It needs to come from, we've learned that it needs to be the nurses or the doctors.
Going back to this authentic piece.
Yeah, and actually what happened in Cork was interesting. It was a nurse who bought our product going in for breast cancer herself.
Oh, really?
And then
how did she purchase it?
She purchased it online. Okay. But it was when she was in there, the nurses were so impressed with it.
Really?
They then asked us to come in, and now they stock us.
And they can better articulate as well, rather than perhaps a layperson. They can really explain.
They understand what the benefits are.
Their experience of it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's getting to the nurse, the right nurse, and as you know, especially breast cancer nurses, well, any nurses, but they run off their feet. They're very busy. So
empathetic as well. Once you can make that connection with them.
Yeah, and once you do, it's amazing. But it's getting the opportunity to do that can be quite challenging. Getting to the right person. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Ciara, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Fair play to you, for want of a better way of framing it. This is really a fantastic thing that you've taken on, and wish you the best of luck with the
product. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Richard.